Hi, I'm Kimberly. Today, we're going to talk about the public education system in the U.S. First, we need to talk about what exactly is wrong with the U.S. education system. Ask any student, teacher, parent, or passerby, and you'll get a different answer. And that's part of the problem. There's no broad consensus on why we have so many issues with our education system. So let's take a step back. How do we even know that there is a problem? We can look at this in a few ways. On a global scale, the U.S. education system is consistently behind other developed countries. The Program for International Student Assessment analyzes reading, science, and math literacy among 15-year-olds in over 70 developed countries. The results for 2018 showed the U.S. ranked 9th in reading, 12th in science, and 31st in math out of 77 countries. In all scenarios, the U.S. scores remained relatively stagnant for nearly 2 decades. In reading, 19% of U.S. students were low performers, which means they scored less than a level 2 proficiency. Again, over 20 years, there's no significant improvement. When we turn to science literacy, we see similar results. Again, 19% of our students were low performers, and there was no significant difference in 20 years. In math, 27% of our students were low performers, and again, no significant improvements have been made from 2000 to 2018. When we piece all this together, we can see the U.S. compared to our international counterparts. The U.S. average for all subjects is 495, and we are ranked 25th internationally. Okay, quick pause. Now is an important time to mention that there is clear-cut evidence demonstrating alarming demographic differences among U.S. students. In all subjects, African American and Hispanic students score consistently below their Caucasian and Asian classmates and well below the average. Additionally, the same is true for high poverty-stricken areas. This is a significant issue that needs to be addressed. However, it is beyond the scope of this video, and we will focus on one primary issue facing the majority of our schools. We find similar results among 4th and 8th grade students. The Trends in Mathematics and Science study compares math and science performance at an international level every 4 years. The most recent available report is from 2015. Results for 4th graders showed that the U.S. ranks 14th in math literacy and 10th in science. Results for 8th graders showed that the U.S. ranks 10th in math literacy and 11th in science. Combine all this information with the fact that the U.S. spends significantly more than the global average per student in education, and we have to ask ourselves, what is going on here? How can the U.S. spend so much money per student and still be so far behind other countries? More money is better, right? Wrong. More money is not the answer. Funding is used to reinforce a system that is designed to fail. The education system is flawed in its fundamental structure. We fall prey to Stephen Kerr's idea of rewarding A but hoping for B. We reward good grades that often come from memorizing, but we hope that our students will learn and succeed after high school. Students are told by parents, teachers, and counselors, if you don't get good grades, you will get a bad job. You won't get into a good college. You will not be successful. And if you got a C in your test, you obviously don't know anything. We tell students starting in elementary school that they need good grades and standardized test scores to be successful. We motivate them by this fear of failure that becomes ingrained in our minds. In our education system, grades determine who you are and who you can become. We put so much emphasis on grading and testing that students grow up thinking this is all that matters. Who cares if they remember anything about American history after they get an A? Think about it. How many times did you cram for a test in school just to forget all of that information a few weeks later? That's not learning. Our system is not built to foster learning. Do you see the problem? One day, our students will be asked to show what they know and not just take a test, and they won't be prepared. And this is not our students' faults. It's because our education system reinforces good grades and calls that learning, and that is not the same thing. So, how can we change this? We can change this by implementing deep learning principles in all public schools. Deep learning is the process of fusing content knowledge with real-world situations. Knowledge is transferred rather than memorized. Deep learning focuses on 6 competencies that prepare students to succeed post-high school: mastering core academic content, thinking critically and solving complex problems, working collaboratively, communicating effectively, learning how to learn, and developing academic mindsets. The benefits of deep learning principles cannot be overemphasized. Students in these schools scored better on the PISA international test mentioned earlier, have higher graduation rates, and are more prepared to enter college or the workforce after graduation. So, let's take a look at how we can implement deep learning throughout our education system using the change continuum model. There are 3 general steps we can follow to reinvent our system: inform, educate, and commit. During the inform stage, we will raise awareness and clearly communicate the problem of our system to parents, teachers, students, and the general public. We will explain that moving to a deep learning system is necessary to adequately prepare our students for life beyond high school. During the educate stage, we will provide resources and training opportunities for each district to help them move towards a deep learning system. We will get strong change agents in each district to actively participate in the implementation in their schools. These change agents have in-depth knowledge and experience within their district, and their input and suggestions will be invaluable to effectively implement this change. We will also implement a national certification program for future or current teachers to study and become certified in deep learning philosophies. Theoretically, this would make teachers more valuable and help increase their pay once certified. We must also educate each state governor on all aspects of deep learning to ensure their full support and understanding of adopting this education system in their state. As more and more states adopt this mentality and see the increasing graduation rates and interactive, meaningful classrooms, more support will be generated over time. Over the next few years, we will move towards an institutionalization as deep learning becomes the new status quo for our public schools. With the help of our change agents across school districts and training our current and future teachers, our schools can soon internalize this incredibly necessary and positive change. To combat the resistance we expect with any change that goes against the status quo, we must clearly communicate the need for this reinvention of our education and explain the successes that come with deep learning. To ensure individuals do not feel like leaders are mishandling this change, we need to get as many people involved as possible to ensure we are engaging with the individuals this directly impacts. Their voices matter and are significant. This will fail without their support, so we must ensure that they are involved in each and every step, starting today. Over time, we can build a system that pushes students to succeed, and we can become a society that reinforces deep, meaningful learning and not one that determines your worth based on a grade you get on a test. If you want to help build awareness for this much-needed and long overdue reinvention of our public education system, please share this video and contact your state representatives and educators and tell them you want to see deep learning in your classrooms. Together, we can internalize this change by educating our society and changing the status quo from basing a student's value and success on test scores to one that encourages an environment of deep, meaningful learning. Thank you for listening. For more information, please visit www.hula.org.